Have you ever been paralyzed by self-doubt? It is a normal human experience. Normal not in the sense that it is good, but if I was to thump your nose, goodness gracious me, I wouldn't, but if I was to thump your nose, it would be normal for it to bleed and for you to feel pain and get angry and upset with me. What if I told you that there's something that you use every day that you can incorporate, that you can tap into to give you additional tools to manage the paralyzing effect of the self-doubt? Resilience is the key to your recovery. This video is divided into 4 parts. Part number 1 is the effect of self-doubt. Part number 2 is the strategies to manage self-doubt. Part number 3, I'll give you an example of someone who successfully overcame serious self-doubt. And number 4, I'll leave you with some conclusions. Part number 1, effects of self-doubt. A constant barrage of inner messages of what ifs. I should have done this. I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I should do this. And that leads you to constantly beating on yourself with hindsight. Hindsight becomes the stick with which you beat on yourself. Then there's the constant questioning of your abilities, your worth, your decisions. Constant fear of starting something new. You are in a perpetual state of negativity, and I'm not good enough. What are the strategies? The first strategy I want you to consider is your own way of managing it. Let's move away from the pronoun yo and give it a name. If you are Joan, then it becomes the Joan way. If you are Linda, then it is the Linda way of managing it. That Linda and Joan way of managing it has kept you going, notwithstanding the duration and the magnitude of your self-doubt. So you need to acknowledge that. Anything else we are giving you, anything else you learn, is to add on to the Joan way or the Linda way, because there is only your way. There isn't my way. I may suggest something, but in the end, it is the Joan way that makes sense of that. It's Joan that accepts and works with what he gets. The second one is to catch yourself beating on yourself with a hindsight stick. Because when you're beating yourself with a hindsight stick, you are actually producing stress hormones. Adrenaline, noradrenaline, cortisol. Strategy number 1 is to acknowledge that the Joan way has kept you going. Strategy number 2 is to catch yourself beating on yourself with hindsight. The third strategy is to then reframe, and this is how you do it. You see, with hindsight, you're given a solution an hour before, which was the best solution for you to act on, and you do that. Then half an hour afterwards, your circumstances have changed. Your mental state, physical state, your fears, environment, everything has changed. And a new solution has therefore come based on your new change. So reframing means you say, instead of beating myself with hindsight, let me ask a kinder question. Like, I was given the best solution to act on, which I did, and then how can I incorporate the new solution into my brain so that next time it meets a similar problem or the same problem, it will incorporate that. And how do you do that? You marinate in the solution that we are given. I'm going to send that message to my brain, to my system, to take note of that. Now, that is a kinder way of dealing with the same situation. And with a kinder way, you are being more compassionate to yourself. And when you're kind and compassionate to yourself, guess what? The dopamines, serotonins, enkephalins, endorphins, and other feeling good hormones. The third strategy is to acknowledge the pivotal role resilience plays in your life day in, day out. It was your resilience, the will to live, that allowed you to scream the day you were born. It is the same will to live that allowed you to scream when your diapers were wet or soiled and itching you. It is the same resilience that allowed you to learn to walk. And it is the same resilience that has managed to carry you through thick and thin. So that resilience needs to be acknowledged. It is the same resilience that's keeping you through the self-doubt. And it doesn't only need to be acknowledged, you need to feed on it. And thirdly, you need to grow it and nurture it. Reframing is part of nurturing and growing it. And you are diversifying it from just protecting you and keeping you going to saying it can also help you grow, is we all need help. No one is an island. Seek help when you need to. So those are the 4 strategies I want you to work with. Now I'll give you an example of Zerida. Zerida was a very successful lady, but she was successful because she knew her limitations. She was terrified in social situations. The only one person she felt very comfortable with was an elementary school friend with whom she remained very close. Then one day the friend told her she had got a job overseas for 3 years, but she was unhappy because she would not be able to give her a send-off at the airport. So she came up with putting on the blinders, just like the horses are fitted with the blinders. And her blinder was Zoe. That was her friend's name. Zoe, Zoe, Zoe. So the time came, she went to the airport. She found a safe place to sit. She watched as her friend came. I checked in and was going towards the security, and she got up and gave her friend the fright of her life. She hugged the friend. The two were in tears. It was extremely emotional. Zoe couldn't believe her eyes. She couldn't believe her fortune. Her best friend was there to see her off. The tears of joy, the tears of surprise. That was Zerida's turning point. If she could do it at the airport, she could do it in the shops. She could do it somewhere else. So she would go to the grocery store for bananas. She put on banana blinders. Everything else was a distraction, banana. She went to the pharmacy, toothpaste, and gradually she managed to conquer her self-doubt as the feeling good hormones started to outweigh the impact of the self-doubt. And on her 3rd year, she took a flight and went overseas to visit her friend. Remarkable story. In conclusion, therefore, number 1, normalize your self-doubt. You are not alone. Number 2, acknowledge that the system you've been using has been working, notwithstanding the pain you're going through. Number 3, acknowledge the significant role resilience has played in keeping you going. Feed on it, nurture it, reframe, and keep reframing. Number 4, be kind to yourself, Be compassionate. Feed on these two. Then with reframing, feed on your kindness. Feed on your compassion. Feed on your positive energy. And lastly, beat self-doubt with resilience. The three words, feeling good hormones. If you would like to share your self-experience and the solutions you've generated, feel free to drop comments in the comment section below and be safe.